Hi everybody, all my followers, welcome to another video. So the video today is on a 2007 Audi A3. I believe this is the 2-liter diesel. Not really sure if that's important for what the problem is. Now, a little bit of back story with this car. I had this car here about a week and a half ago maybe, because the car came here with the ESP light on, EPS, electronic power steering light on, no power steering, and everything, because the guy, this comes from someone else, he was told that, okay, so he was trying to resolve the problem that I'm going to try to resolve now, and I'm going to show you. Let's see if it comes on. So we'll start the engine. There it is. Sensor. You see that oil sensor fault? So that's the problem with the car. And he was trying to solve this problem. And someone told him to replace the loom that goes from the sensor, or that comes from the sensor, all the way to somewhere near the battery. Not really sure. At the same time, he replaced the cable. Apparently, it's the same loom that goes into the steering rack. To be honest, I don't really know what's been done here. So, but that's the problem, the car, the initial problem with the car. So when he came here about a week ago, I have calibrated the steering angle, calibrated the limits, all that stuff. So all the lights went off, but obviously he was left with that. So, and that's the problem we got to tackle now. I'm not really sure where to start, but let me maybe check the diagrams. I'm going to have a feeling that the sensor is connected straight to the cluster. Might be wrong. I have a feeling that's going to be. But let's go to check some diagrams and go from there. Okay, diagrams checked. I've raised the car as well. That's why we're a little bit high now. I've raised the car just to look at the plug, just to make sure I have the right pins. Now I'm checking the sensor under the pan, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is my temperature sensor, or level sensor, I guess. I reckon. Yeah, 266. I'm sure it says is the level sensor. Let me double check. Okay, it's actually a level and temperature sensor. The oil pressure switch is in a different place. But, so being two sensors, I'm gonna guess that, well, and by the diagrams, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be power and ground, and then the sensor is gonna communicate through the dash, or to the dash, somehow through a link communication of some sort. Anyway, so I'm gonna take you through these diagrams quickly, so you all understand what's going on. So dash, component J285, J266 is my sensor, and that's it. The rest is just to show you. But basically, is a 3-pin sensor. I already checked, like I said. We have pin 1, which is a black and red wire coming out from the sensor. There is a plug somewhere after that changes the color to black and purple, and that goes straight to fuse. SC4 is a 5 amp, so it's position 4A, and this is a fuse box. Not sure if it's the one by the engine bay, if it's the one inside the car. Don't know. The guy said to me checked all the fuse, but we're gonna start from scratch, and we're gonna check that as well. Next, or we'll check just the powers and grounds at the plug. That will also do. Then we have pin 2, which is a brown wire, is brown all the way, comes straight to ground. And it also, there is a splice somewhere. It feeds relay J682, which is terminal 50 relay. I believe this ground, at least from here to here, is going to be good, because I don't have any other issues. If terminal 50 relay was failing, that would give me other issues, and I don't have any more issues. So at least from this splice all the way to there is good, unless there is a problem from here to the sensor. Wire number 3 is a gray and yellow wire all the way to my dash pin T32-8. So I think the first thing I'm going to do now is get under the car. The car is already raised. Get under the car and check my powers and grounds. Okay, ignition on. Oil level sensor is here. Now, one thing that I want to say is that the guy said to me that the sensor has been replaced with a known good one. Don't know if it's true, but okay, let's check pin. Let me get a ground here somewhere. So it was, if I remember correctly, it was pin number 1. No. Pin number 1 was the signal, pin number 2 was the ground, pin number 3 was my 5 volts. Is that correct? Not sure which one is going to be pin number 3. I have nothing here, but I might have a background. See how I'm gonna do this. I want to make sure I get a good ground before. Let me hold on a second, guys. Okay, tested the ground from here to the battery and it's good, so I should have 5 volts on one of these pins. I'm not sure which one was now, but either way, one should have 5 volts. And I have nothing at all. No 5 volts. Or sorry, no 12 volts at all in any of the pins. So, even before we check anything else, let's gonna check that fuse and go from there. Okay guys, and let me show you this. Right, visually, I'm not gonna be able to show you to show you all of them, but visually, look at that fuse. It looks good. There's it. Actually, it's checking every single one. They look good, but we seen by my diagrams that the fuse I'm looking for is a 5 amp. So unless they have been changed for a higher rate, but look at the 5 amp fuse. And if you remember, that was fuse number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And look what happens to my test light when I test the top of the fuse. So I have voltage in there. Look when I check the other side. There's nothing. Now I pull it off, and I don't know how good the camera's gonna be. Hopefully it will focus. Can you see right there at the bottom? Right there. Look. See if you focus. Can you see in there? No, you can't. You can't really see it, but it's burned right there in the corner, guys. Right there on that bend. So hopefully it was just a fuse. Okay, let's gonna put the new fuse. So ignition off for that. Let's put the fuse in, and at the moment I do still have my sensor unplugged. I'm pretty sure it is. Let's go and have a look. Yes, it is. So let's turn the ignition on and see if my fuse carry on's okay. If it does, I hope it doesn't burn. I just want to make sure there is not a short somewhere between here and the sensor. So let's check voltage, and the fuse is gone. Wow. And the fuse is gone. Look at that. So there is a short. There is a short somewhere. Okay. Let me now find out. Oh, it's not going to be easy now. Oh crap. Okay, let's gonna try to figure out where the problem is. Okay, so the loom is indeed a loom that is all along with the cables, with the loom that feeds, that goes to the steering rack. I've been following, and it goes all the way at the back of the firewall, right at the bottom, and then it comes up to where the battery is, and that's where I'm gonna open that's when I'm gonna try to check it first. So I'll be removing the battery, and I want to see exactly where that goes. I don't know if it comes to inside the car, if it goes, I don't know yet. It might be that there is an issue inside the car, and I will explain you why. Because look, this is not part of the car. Oh dear, this is not part of the car, and there's more. That's not part of the car. So I don't know if someone has been messing about with this. Well, someone has, obviously, and damaged something inside the car, but not really sure if I should go there or try to. Oh dear, oh dear. I hope there's nothing wrong with the cluster itself. No, it's not cluster. What I'm talking about is the 5 volts that is missing, isn't it? Okay, so no, the 5 volts are fed from this fuse. Still, it can be something wrong from here all the way to there, isn't it? Okay, let me think. Okay, so diagrams went in there again, and actually, as I actually draw in there, just to make sure, diagram shows one plug between the sensor and the cluster, and the fuse box in there. And this plug, according to the diagram, says is on the longitudinal member left hand side. So I think it's going to be somewhere in there. So let me track that and try to disconnect that so I can break down if my problem is going to be after or before that plug. Just try to narrow it down a little bit. Okay, so just curiosity, I'm measuring the blade, the pin from the fuse that should go into my sensor, and that from there to ground, measure it to ground. Look, 3.3 ohms. So there is definitely a short. Now I have, hold on, let me place this differently. Okay, I believe you can see the 3.3 volts in there, the 3.3 ohms. And here is where my loom comes. So it's this loom right here at the back, comes through there, through here. There is my big cables for the steering, then the small plug, 6 wires, so 3 for the sensors on the steering and all that stuff, and this is my plug. So you can see in there my red and black wire, which is my pin number 1, which is supposed to be my voltage. Now from here there's another plug. The wire color changed, but let's gonna see what happens when I unplug this, see if I still get 3.3 ohms. Let me unplug this. Okay, it's unplugged. It's unplugged, and I still have same thing. So I can guarantee you, if I would connect the battery and would put a fuse, the fuse would still burn. Okay. Okay, so the loom gets through inside the car, somewhere in that corner there. So it's gonna come in here, and then obviously the wire will run all the way up to that fuse in there. So what we are going to do is take the glove box out and literally start to trace the wire. There's not much more we can do, so let's go do it. Okay, and the problem is fixed. Things went slightly different. I will take you through. The only thing left now is get the code for the radio, as I mentioned before, but that's a different story. So from there, from the glove box, guys, what I've done is I removed the glove box. I've seen where the loom comes, but the loom runs right at the back all the way. Is nearly impossible to get to it. Anyway, one thing that I've done off camera was as well put a fuse with that plug removed, and the fuse pops out straight away. So there is definitely a short somewhere. According to the diagrams, that wire, that fuse, the only thing that feeds is that oil level sensor. The car runs fine. Well, the car came with the fuse already popped out anyway, and it's been driving like that before, so the guy didn't complain about anything else. And the diagrams, as I said, showed that the fuse feeds only that level and temperature sensor. So what I've done, I rang the guy because I said to the guy that to trace that fault here, most likely I would have to take this dashboard out. It would be a lot of time consuming and all that stuff, and I knew that the guy needed a car. So today is Sunday. I finished the car Sunday morning. I finished the car last night. I did a lot off camera because when I finished the car it was about 8 p.m. It was dark. I was here with some lights and it would be no good to record that. And like I said, I just wanted to finish the car. And I'm going to show you what I've done. And basically what I've done, guys, is I have bypassed the circuit inside the car. Okay, so I'm going to show you that the problem is gone. Start the engine. Okay, we still have this ESP fault because I haven't drove the car since, but I think I will do that before I end the video, just to show you. To align the steering angle sensor, you need to drive for 20 or 30 meters before the lights goes off. So we'll do that, but as you can see, my fault is completely gone now. There's no oil level sensor or oil temperature sensor faults. And I'm going to show you exactly what I've done to do this. Okay, so what I've done, I went to this fuse box. I found a fuse with ignition voltage. Okay, then I dismantled everything, catch the wire at the back, splice the wire, and put another wire that runs underneath now. Can you see that wire there, that grey and blue? So that wire now feeds that plug, and I've cut the wire in there, so the wire from here all the way to the fuse inside the car is now is not in use anymore. Okay, and I know I said at the beginning that this was the 2 liter, as you have seen now is the 1.9. My mistake, but yeah, so that's what I've done. So I've just searched for a fuse that would have ignition voltage, so when you turn the ignition on it feeds the sensor. And then I grabbed the wire underneath. I dismantled the entire fuse box, spliced the wire in there, soldered in there, blah 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 blah, all that good stuff, and run a little wire up to the front. So I'm still feeding the fuse from ignition voltage, so everything is doing what's supposed to be doing. And we just ignored the circuit inside. The guy was happy to do this, one because he needed the car, as I mentioned that, and also because if I would be to do this properly, it would increase a little bit the cost of the repair, as you can imagine. So problem is problem is resolved. Now I'm going to go for a quick drive at the end of the road to make these 2 lights goes off, and then we'll go from there. And then I will close this video. And as you can see, the light is now off. It's gonna drive home. And that's it, job done. Okay, so what to say about this? Not the proper repair, but we got it done in the end. And I think that's it for this video. In a way, I really hope somehow this can help someone with the same issue. So I hope it's helpful to someone out there. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions, any comments, please put them below. And like always, thanks for watching.